We're live from the Tennessee Ice Pavilion where the gauntlet continues for Syracuse hockey. Tonight, the Orange battle a ranked team for the 5th consecutive game as number 10 Cornell makes the short journey from Ithaca. Hi, everybody. Alongside Matt Kibbe, I'm John Eads. Pleased to be with you. This schedule has been brutal this year for Syracuse, Matt. This is the 12th ranked game for the Orange this year. Not necessarily pretty in the win-loss column, but preparation for CHA play coming up.
The schedule is completely intentional, and don't let those scores fool you. They're going to be dangerous because they played these tough opponents.
Syracuse be dangerous in CHA play. Someone who's dangerous tonight, Izzy Daniel for Cornell, one of the premier forwards in the ECAC. You may not believe it, but it's actually spring break here at Syracuse, so out go the students, and in comes Johns Hopkins. Today, the two winningest programs in the history of college lacrosse go at it, and another former legend will have his name and number 22 sent to the rafters. Hi, everybody. Welcome inside the broadcast booth here at the JMA Wireless Dome with former Syracuse lacrosse goalie Evan Malloy. I'm John Eads. Evan, this rivalry goes back a long way, so storied. You know it, you've played it, and you've lived it. But right now, these two programs in a spot where both are craving for a W.
Syracuse spins a little bit snake-bitten. They played the #1 UVA Cavaliers this Tuesday. They'll just look to right the ship with some of their great seniors. 18-13
loss for Johns Hopkins in that game. So a very storied rivalry, but it's the first taste for a freshman on this Johns Hopkins team, and that's Matt Collison, 6'4" Canadian, playing in his first game against Syracuse. Welcome inside the JMA Wireless Dome. It's a place Syracuse has yet to lose so far this year, and tonight the Cuse looks to close up shop on a 4-game homestand to open up the Felicia Leggett-Jack era in the Salt City. And with that, we welcome you courtside along with Carl Winter. I'm John Eads. Thanks so much for joining us this evening. Exhibition play got off to a dicey start for Syracuse, Carl, but ever since the regular season started, 3 straight opponents, 3 straight blowouts for the Orange.
The Orange have improved in every game here in this building, able in this non-conference slate of in-state opponents.
As a team, Syracuse has improved, but one player that hasn't had to improve, Deasia Fair, averaged over 20 points per game each year in her time at Buffalo, and she's carried over that talent to Syracuse. Syracuse all over Binghamton in this Monday women's lacrosse matinee. The Orange up 8 as we head into the break. Thanks for sticking with us. Along with Jack Gordon, I'm John Eads. Jack, let down what for Syracuse lacrosse? The Orange take down Maryland last week, and maybe some people thought they might struggle against the Binghamton squad that's really built some momentum lately, but Syracuse has dominated early on.
It was a gauntlet of a first 2 games for Syracuse. An 8-goal lead at the half, it's right where they want to be.
The Orange with 11 first-half goals, 8 different goal scorers. That's the good. What's the bad, though, is the turnovers. The Orange have 14 already in this game. Hey, Thanksgiving might be over, but the feast doesn't stop for anything. A 28-20 lead for Syracuse. The Orange feasting in that second quarter to take an 8-point lead into the break. Welcome back inside the JMA Wireless Dome along with Luke Schwartz. I'm John Eads. Thanks so much for joining us, and happy holidays. Really tough first quarter for SU. Luke, the Orange kind of carrying over those struggles for Penn State on Monday, but the Orange flipped a switch in the second.
And that was one reason. It was Deasia Fair. She was incredible. Better on the offensive end, and Deasia Fair just unstoppable.
Bit of a tale of 2 quarters in this contest. Bucknell actually led 10-6 after the first quarter, and Cecilia Collins a big reason why. Everything is advertised for the Bison. Very fitting start to this game. Syracuse in front of number 10, Johns Hopkins, 3-2, going back and forth here inside the JMA Wireless Dome. Welcome back to the Dome. I feel outnumbered here. John Eads with former Syracuse goalie Evan Malloy and lacrosse legend here at Syracuse, Ryan Powell. Thanks so much for joining us. How's it feel to be back?
Oh, it feels awesome. This game's a lot of energy out there on the field.
Open run, Patrick Deans, he scores! Matched up with Hatch. Kick out to Strong, open for 3, she cans it! How about that to end the first half? Asia Strong with a triple and a 9-point lead for the Cuse going into the break. A lot of games of this kind of caliber. Punched up ahead to Joachim, shot on goal, she scores! Caitlin Joachims goes Bartesi, and Cornell takes an early 1-0 lead. The team is trying to turn the corner to close out the year. Oh, fastball right to the face of Rosado. Shimanova's not going to go down without a fight. Syracuse continues to turn up the heat defensively, and that defense may be leading to offense. Here comes Jenny Markey. Over to Tyrell, give and go, back to the Mount Sinai product, and she scores! High-to-high ripper from Jenny Markey, and it's 14-3 Syracuse early in the third. Typically a 35% shooter. Hyman around the band, gets her right hand free. Oh, what a finish. Tisha Hyman, that was mean. Back to Evans. Beats Rice, gets to the cage, and bounces it in.
What a move from Evans.
Ryan Evans, one-on-one. He wins and puts Johns Hopkins in front. Tyrell, near goal line extended. Oh, shoots a defender out of her shoes, gets to the cage, and scores. Takeaway. Tisha Hyman, full court pass up ahead, the Orange with numbers. Asia Strong, lefty layup, counted and a foul. Turnovers for touchdowns for Syracuse, and an old-fashioned three-point play for Strong.
And also brief.
Franco cuts, she is on fire. Down the line, diagonal, doesn't matter. Franco scoring in set 3. So Melendez with his second was the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week back in February. He scored a career-high 4 goals against Georgetown. Got a pair today. But Fine wins another face-off. The Orange try to run it to safety. They do so successfully.
And John, you talk about Melendez's 2 goals. He said he might be moving to midfield to get that short stick matchup, and those are where the 2 goals are coming from, him dominating that matchup.
So perhaps a nice adjustment by John Crawley, the offensive coordinator on the Johns Hopkins side. Guy that played for Dave Petramala back in the day. They still keep in touch every now and then.
Had some good battles with John Crawley.
You ever save any of his shots?
I think so, I had to.
Yeah?
I was National Player of the Year against Hopkins. Or Player of the Week, I should say, not year.
Not quite year, but you'll take the week, yeah. Shorty on shorty, far side. Raposo defensively. And Cook on the offensive side for Syracuse. Under 30 seconds on the shot clock. Someone who's been a little quiet for the Orange is Jackson Birtwistle today. Not many catch and shoot chances in front.
A lot of Syracuse's offense is inside. Here he is.
Right on cue, but Marcille ties his career high with his 16th save.
What I was going to say is Birtwistle has been finding his money a little bit further out, and Hopkins has given up the inside, so you take that if you're Syracuse. Right there, he got open on a cut, but that's really why we haven't called his name too much.
How about Raposo running the gauntlet there through 4 Syracuse riders?
And that's not an easy ride. A Syracuse Hopkins ride as a D-mid, you want to get rid of the ball. That's going to be a lot of stick checks, a lot of slashes.
It's like when you're man down and you got to run it up the field and just get it to the other side of the field. You're going to be expecting some double, some triple teams, and maybe some bruises the next day. You're no stranger to that, though, as a goalie, right? Those bruises.
Yeah, not a fun position if you want to keep your legs clean from bruises.
Collison holds. He's yet to really make an impact today. No points, 3 shots. The Orange done well on him defensively. But they can't stop Melendez. Throw your hats if you're a Johns Hopkins fan. Russell Melendez with 3, and it puts the Blue Jays in front.
You mentioned Collison, he's having a tough day, but he's still commanding so much attention. Look at all the eyes on Syracuse. They're looking at him. They don't want him to get the shot. That opens up Melendez for his 3rd of the day. He makes Mark pay.
Wow. What a move, what an adjustment by the Hopkins staff. Moving Melendez from attack to midfield to pinpoint those mismatches. He's taken full advantage today.
And how does Syracuse respond, right? Do you bring a pole up and cover him, or do you slide earlier? You got to do something to keep him contained.
Well, it's really smart because who do you put on Collison then if you want to switch somebody off of him to put on Melendez, right?
You're right, yeah, it's a good thing to have for Hopkins, all these weapons.
Pick your poison. Very poisonous right now is the Johns Hopkins offense. Battle for the loose ball. Last touch by the Blue Jays. Syracuse takes over. Aviles picks it up. Missed the past couple of games with an injury. Coach Gate told us it was a lower body injury, so he nursed that back in the lineup. It's big for Syracuse, not only defensively, but also situations like that in the clear.
Definitely, he's got great stick skills. You mentioned his high school career. His high school highlights are sick. He's scoring backhand goals and stuff, and now he's playing D-midi, so he can handle the rock.
He was the Long Island Player of the Year, so a two-way guy, but has been a short stick D-midi through and through here at Syracuse. Skip pass to Simmons. In front, Thompson's open, and he buries it. Can't forget about 23 in white. Nobody accounted for Finn Thompson, and he makes the Blue Jays pay.
This is where Syracuse has found their success in front of the goal, mainly because Marcel's been able to stop everything outside. But we have a nice vision from Simmons here. He catches ball. He's very patient when he has this too. He doesn't rush the feed, lets the second slide come, and that opens up Thompson. No Hopkins player near him. Marcel can save everything, but he's not going to save a two-pump fake from Finn Thompson.
Alex Simmons on the assist, his 11th of the season. And the true freshman, wide open in front of Cage, takes care of the rest. Thompson hailing from Toronto, Canada. One of 4 brothers in his family. He's the youngest, kind of like Mike Powell, who will join us momentarily. And Syracuse trailing 2-0. The offense just hasn't looked great today. The Orange typically hit 209 as a team, today below 100. What do the Orange need to do with the remaining portions of set 3, and if there is a set 4 potentially, to get back in this?
Do whatever they can to stay in system. And also, what Syracuse has done so well today is respond after a timeout. If the Orange can do that right here with Grieve on the service line, then there can be some more success going in. We can have an even tighter third set. We've seen some pretty epic bursts in second sets. Why not make it a third? The Orange have an opportunity to do that right here, right now.
What's interesting is in matches that go to 4 or 5 sets, Syracuse 8-3. And we'll need a couple more of those to force that 4th set. There's the Polina Shimanova we all know.
Going with the cut shot once again. Check it out one more time. Shimanova realizing she had the opening. Get past Rosado, a diving attempt. Great effort from the sophomore. When you have someone like Polina on your squad, there's only so much that you can do.
Back row attack for Grieve, didn't put much on it. Woodford sets it up for Burt. A free ball, nope. The libero couldn't get it over. Another error for Syracuse. It seemed like that wasn't the shot Grieve wanted, so an opportunity for Syracuse to counter, but instead, a bit of a miscommunication in the back line between Lekmanchuk and Shimanova, and the Orange can't recover.
Throughout, I mean, with Alyssa Burt as well, trying to figure out who's going to dig it.
Good play from Burt there to watch the serve sail out of bounds. The Orange doing everything they can to stay alive here in set 3, but facing a 7-point advantage, it's tough to overcome. The Orange in danger of being swept for the 8th time this season. Miscommunication from Miami, now a chance for Syracuse. Shimanova to the back line, didn't stay in bounds, but she did get the deflection. Double block in the way for Miami, but the grad student had an answer. Seems like she can work herself out of some pretty tough situations sometimes. Like a double block's really hard to beat, and especially when you're leaping from the spot maybe you don't necessarily want to have the wherewithal to put that ball in a spot where you know you can get a touch.
The experience, too, is crucial. You know, being a grad student, being around for a while, helps out a lot, too.
Yardimshi plays the same game off the hands of the Syracuse front line. And again, she heads right back to the bench. She's being inserted into this game by Coach Gondara. And he's saying, hey, go get us a point, we'll bring you back out. Well, she's answering the bell every time.
It's so important to have a player like that, especially when you go down the stretch.
Franco to the back line off the hands of Rosado. We don't see that very often from the defensive specialist who's so steady. But Franco continues an impressive day.
Going with the line shot this time. Not normally we see Franco with the cut shot. This time around, mixing it up and fooling both me and you.
Rosado too, I guess. Didn't seem like she was expecting it. Bach inside for layout. She just tips it over. Using all of her 6'3" frame to trampoline above everybody else. And you just can't stop that.
Caught the back line napping too. Shimanova with the late reaction because she was on her back feet before trying to dive for it. As much as you can bring force with your kill attempts, why not go find the donut? Show finesse.
Franco down the line again, in play again. 2 big kills for Franco in the 3rd set, trying to keep Syracuse in it.
Another look at it here. Rosado thought this was out, but honestly, I thought it was in 1, and 2, I thought it bounced off Rosado as well. Coach
Ganesh-Ratnam says Franco, someone who's nowhere even close to being done, fully developing. Very high ceiling, and you're seeing the sparks and the flashes we saw at times last year become a little bit more consistent. But Coach Gondera wants to look at that last shot to see if it did indeed land in bounds. You mentioned Rosado, the libero for Miami. Didn't seem to think so.